If you want a different life, you have to become a different man. I realized that in the last few years. So if you want to hit the next level of life, your goals are going to have to challenge you. Like they're going to have to be challenging. They're going to have to be a little bit scary. And if they're not big enough. So you need ambitious goals. You need an ambitious vision in life as a man. So, something that you can always chase and something you can always pursue. Something you can always try to build and grow upon. Because life as men is always going to be a bit of a burden, a performance test. Can you make more money? Can you be more successful? Can you help more people out? People are going to measure you by these things. It may be unfortunate, but this is the way the world works. So if you want to start a business, you want to build a brand, you want to post some content, you want to make a channel, you want to build a podcast, whatever it is, you have to have certain skills, and these skills can compound, and you have to have a belief that you can make it happen. You have to believe that you can pull the shit off, right? Because, building a business, getting in shape, making more money, leveling up, chasing status, it's going to be overwhelming at times, right? But being broke, being out of shape, being overlooked, right? Not being appreciated is overwhelming as well. And I've seen both sides of the fence, right? And so what I realized is that we have to start taking our lives more serious, because we don't have the luxury of someone coming in and fixing all your problems and paying all your bills and paying all your mortgage just because you're a regular dude who's doing the right thing, right? So the new life is going to require a new identity. All your ambitious goals are going to require a new identity. You're going to have to shift your mindset to become that thing, to become that person. And how do you do that, right? You do it by the small steps, the showing up every day, being consistent, being persistent, right? And when you stop chasing, the vices, and you stop chasing the distractions, you start to really lock in. And you can see, man, this is possible, man. I started a side hustle. I made $200 in a week. Well, damn, what if I really lock in? Can I make 400? Can I make 4K? Can I make 10K? And maybe it doesn't happen overnight, but over years of you developing skills and working on your craft and believing in yourself and doing it when people weren't believing in you, and doing it when you didn't have a lot of followers, you didn't have a lot of money, you didn't have a lot of resources, it actually makes you better. It makes you stronger. It makes you more difficult for you to quit, because you're like, man, I came from zero and I'm at 50 and I'm trying to get to 100, right? But the journey is what you're gonna is where the growth takes part in. So I want you guys to understand, like, if you have small goals, you have a small vision, you got to think bigger, you got to think better, you got to think like all this shit's possible. Even if you're dead broke right now, you could become a millionaire. Let's say you fall a little short, you make 800K. Shit, you're doing a lot better than most people, right? So I don't want you guys who think that anything that you can do is going to fail or it's not going to work when you haven't really tried. A lot of great people have tried things, and on the 8th year, the 10th year, the 1,000th attempt, they finally made it happen. And everybody claps for them, and everybody says, oh, you were a genius for kept going. Of course. Because quitting is the easy thing, right? Quitting is the easy thing to do. And we've all probably quit in certain things. So like, man, this ain't going to work. Got to move on. But if you have a purpose, if you have a goal, if you have a dream, the other side of it is just not fulfilling it and then living a life that you don't like, being in a job you don't like, having a career you can't stand, going to an office or going to a job, or coming home to a relationship that you don't like either. So you have to become that man who can make the shit happen, right? And society always puts pressure on us to get 6 figures, to buy the big house, drive fancy cars, to go on these type of things. But if that's not your dream, then don't chase it. There's some people out here who just want to fish on the weekends. There's some dudes out here who want to golf on the weekends. There's some dudes who want to make music. There's some dudes who want to create content. There's somebody who just wants to chill on the beach and surf, right? Can you build a lifestyle where you can do what you want to do? That's the real flex. The real flex is finding something that you love to do and getting paid for it, whether it's $1,000 or $2, right? That's the real dream. Is freedom to be who you want to be. And it's difficult because on that journey, people are going to try to talk you out of it. People are going to hate on you for attempting it. People are definitely going to hate on you if you achieve it, because they got to go show up at their bullshit job. They got to go show up at a spot that they don't like, or go to places they can only afford, but they really want to go on this lavish trip, or they want to go traveling overseas, but they're stuck in their small town, or they're stuck in this city And then when you're doing certain things, they're gonna hate and they have resentment for it. But they didn't take the chance. They didn't take the calculated risk. They didn't invest in the skills. They didn't invest in themselves. So they're gonna kind of hate on you. So I want you guys to understand that goals are supposed to be scary. Your dream and your vision is supposed to be a little bit intimidating. Like, yo, man, when you wake up in the morning, like, yo, how am I to pull this off? That's a good feeling, actually. Sometimes it can be difficult, it can be very stressful, but that's a good feeling because that means you're fighting for something. That means you're investing in something. If you're just going through the day-to-day grind and nothing's inspiring, man, a lot of people check out. A lot of men check out. And then they're just stuck in the same cycle doing the same shit year after year after year. All right. So you also have to believe and understand that the lifestyle that you want, someone out there is willing to outwork you to get it. If you really want to be a doctor, someone's willing to go to medical school, someone's willing to take out the debt, someone's willing to sacrifice, parties and trips to go to medical school, to pay for medical school, to become a doctor. And if you're half-assing it, you probably won't make it, right? If you want to be an artist, are you going into the studio? Are you creating are you drawing the paintings or whatever, or writing the book or whatever you're doing, right? Someone's willing to outwork you to get your spot. And if you have a spot and you're feeling comfortable, someone's looking at you like, yo, as soon as he slip up, I'm taking it. So you had to become this man. You had to become this person that has the skills and has the belief and has the talent to pull it off and keep going and keep grinding. That's what I'm trying to promote on this channel, right? Is that self-improvement is always going to be a journey. So which journey do you want? Do you want the journey where you're making money, you're hitting the gym, you're reading books, you're writing books, you're making content, and it's overwhelming? Or do you want the journey of you're just living paycheck to paycheck, you're broke, you're stressed, you got no motion, nothing's going wrong, nothing's going right, everything's going wrong? Do you want that overwhelming feeling? You got to pick a side. Pick a side and just keep going. So if you guys have ambitious goals, don't let people talk you out of it. Don't let people try to minimize it, right? If you want to become an actor, you want to direct films, and you don't have any experience doing it, fuck them. Who cares? What are they doing? They're not taking a chance. Why can't you do it? Why can't you pay for film school? Why can't you go to travel to another area and start doing community theater? What's stopping you? Nothing's stopping you. A lot of times we stop ourselves. I've stopped myself from certain goals in my past. And now that I'm trying to build a brand and I'm trying to build a channel and I'm trying to build a lifestyle that I can be happy when I wake up and doing, it's worth the journey. It's worth the risk. That's why I'm doing it. That's why I make these videos. That's why I build a brand. That's why I started the channel, because I've seen other people do it and they pull it off. So why can't you? Right? So look at life, look at your vision, look at your purpose, and go and become him. Find the habits that are going to make it happen. I like that. Find the habits that's going to go make it happen. All right? That's the message for today. If you like this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe to the vibe. Y'all know what to do. You got L Chain. I'm up out of here. Peace.